This week we are continuing our segment of animals and insects. And this week we are going to be drawing a lion, but we are also going to be doing it in the style of a famous painter, Henri Rousseau, who painted wildlife, plant life in the jungle. And he was a French painter who lived from 1844 to 1910. He has 123 artworks that are famous. And the really ironic thing about him is that he painted his plant life, lots and lots of plant life is most of his paintings, but he had never been, and he painted it as if it was jungle plant life. So he had never been to the jungle ever before. And he had only ever seen his house plants. And he also visited a botanical garden, which was not a very big botanical garden. So he knew that the plants in the jungle were very large in scale compared to his house plants and botanical garden plants. So he was a self-taught artist. He had no training from anyone whatsoever. So he completely taught himself how to paint these different, and you will be able to see these. I'm going to give you two examples of them. And one is called The Sleeping Gypsy, where there's a tiger that looks like it has come upon a sleeping gypsy out in the desert, and the tiger is of no harm to the woman who is asleep. And then there's another one called A Tiger in a Tropical Storm, and there's lots and lots of plant life just blowing all about in the middle of a storm. And our tiger, which is our focal point because that's what we've been working with, is animals and insects. Tigers are mainly found in Africa, south of the Sahara. And I'm sorry, I keep calling it a tiger. It's a lion. This is a lion. Second grade did a tiger. I'm sorry, got confused. The lion is a feline, which means it is just a large form of a cat. So it's in the cat family. Lions are very muscular, and lions have this large bushy hair all the way around their fur, all the way around their head. Yes, it's called a mane. So this would be the tiger's mane, all that fur that is around their head. And tigers tend to live in groups called prides. And there's generally about 15 in a pride. Now, once you see the two drawings, which will be in your modules, the two paintings that he done, the Sleeping Gypsy or the Tiger in the Storm, I would also like for you to turn in, whenever you turn in your work, what you think Henri Rousseau was trying to tell people with his painting in both of those examples of paintings. So now we will go ahead and get started, because we are going to create this lion, not a tiger, a lion, with jungle art based on Henri Rousseau's artwork. So me find my pen. Sorry about that. Now, there's going to be a lot of overlapping where we overlap plants and overlap our line. So what we're going to do first, we're just going to start out with our line's head. And we generally start with the eyes. And you're just going to draw 2 ovals. So we're going to add our shapes in here. And color in. We're going to color in those oval shapes. And leave this up here so you can see it as an example. And then we're going to draw the nose. So right under the eyes, we're going to come down with 2 straight lines. Right under those 2 straight lines, you're going to draw kind of a nose shape. And it's going to come down in the middle, up and curve around. And then curve it down and curve back up and around. And you can just color that in black too. And once again, it does not matter what kind of paper you use. And as long as you have paper and pencil, and try to have an eraser. And you need to start off with pencil. And then under the nose shape, we're going to put the shape of his mouth. So you're going to come down on one side of his nose, come out and down, and kind of curve it back in, and then curve it down, and go across and back up. And we want to go back up on this side of his nose, but we're going to bring it out a little bit first and then curve it back into his nose. And then just a line down and curve it out to the side, and do the same thing, curve it out to the opposite side, so that you have your mouth shape. We know his mouth opens now. Now you're going to take a line and come from kind of the top half of his mouth shape and bring a line up and around and up and over his eyes, bringing it over to the other side and back down to the shape of his mouth. And lions, like all cats in the cat family, have whiskers. So you're just going to add some whiskers in there. And then above each side of his face, you're going to draw a straight line with like an upside down U to connect it. And another one on the opposite side for his ears. Now, your mane, you're just going to use kind of wavy lines to go all around. And depending on how big you want your mane, because not all manes are exactly the same, just do some wavy lines. Make your mane the size that you want it to be. And for right now, kind of like right towards the bottom of his eyes, you're going to take a straight line from the side of his mane off of the side of the paper. That's for the top part of his body. We're going to wait for the bottom part because you're going to draw in your plant life, which overlaps his body. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a really big flower down here in the bottom corner right here. So you're going to draw a circle or oval. It's actually an oval shape. And another oval inside. And then we're going to draw our flower. And you're just going to take a line and curve it up towards his head. And it's going to be like it's behind his mane. Like he's kind of sticking his head out from behind the plant life. So he's kind of overlapping this flower. And there's your first petal. Then you're going to add your next petal with some wavy lines. Bring it up to a point. And a wavy line back down. And a wavy line in the middle. This petal, your next petal, and then you move on to your next petal. And if you have room, if you don't have room, it's going to run off the paper. If you do have room, just bring it up to that point, like we have like we did this one. And you're going to continue with those curved and wavy lines to bring those flower petals to a point. And that line in the middle. And this one is going to run off the page. Unless you have room, then you would bring that to a point. I'm going to add another one. And I skipped one. And then add another one. Curved line. Curve that line for our last petal up to the line's mane. Now, we're just going to draw right here a leaf. So it's going to be a big green leaf for those big jungle plants. And it's just going to be kind of like a zigzag pattern, only you're going to add a little curve in there. See how it curves a little bit? And bring your lines up for like the veins in your leaves. Now we can finish. Once you have the size of your big leaf here, you can finish the lion's body and just kind of run it off the page with a straight line. And right here, we're just going to add some patterns using straight lines. So you're just going to draw straight lines. Off that paper. And here, we're going to add another big leaf, big jungle leaf. And it's just almost kind of like the flower. And the other leaf, sometimes it kind of a curved zigzag pattern. And then you add your veins in. Now, let's finish this side of the paper first. I'm going to draw another flower using your oval shapes. And as you can tell, this leaf overlaps this flower. I'm just going to do it the same way as you did the other ones. Curve that up to a point and back down. Curve it up and curve it back down until you run out of room, or continue going all the way around depending on your paper and the size of your drawing. Then we're going to finish it off with kind of a zigzag pattern again, only curved a little. Those lines are just up, down, up to a point, back down, up to a point, and curve it back down until you run that off the paper. Now, we're going to do one more leaf. And we're going to do it a little different. This is going to kind of have a zigzag pattern again. I'm going to curve it up, back down. And then add your veins in those leaves. And then we're going to do another set of a pattern using straight lines. So another set of straight lines to make a pattern. Now we're going to color our line in our plant life. So you're going to come in here, inside of the face, but we're not going to color the mouth down here. We're going to leave it white. I'm going to color those ears in yellow. And then his body. And if you use broad tip markers, remember to lay those on their side so that you get more color and they cover more area than they would if you use just the tip, and then you can use your tip to get in these small places without wearing out your tip completely. But it's also just fine if you turn it in and it's done in crayon, coloring pencil, or just whatever medium you have to add color to the paper if you have color available to you. Now we're going to color his mane. Trying to be careful not to run out of the lines. And my marker's about dead.
Here.
Now, we're going to color our plant life. And our plant life is going to be very colorful. Because usually the jungle has very colorful flowers and plants. Some of them aren't as colorful as others, but most of them are. So I'm just going to pick a color for my flower. Do the inside of it first. So I'm going to come around here with yellow. And then the inside, orange. And your flowers can be whatever color you want them to be. They can even be multicolored. That's entirely up to you. I think this one I'm going to multicolor it. And if you don't have all these extra colors, that's fine. Just do the best with what you got. And this is still just our flower. Like I said, I was going to multicolor it, which means I was going to make it two different colors. Make one flower two different colors. Because plants do grow, or flowers do grow with the petals not all the same color sometimes. Just depends on the flower. Then we're going to color our leaves green. And for your patterns on our patterns using straight lines, you can choose to do those whatever colors you want, because those are just some patterns that we added in. To give the paper more detail. And to make sure we are continuing with our understanding of different patterns. Word. And you'll continue to color your leaves green, and your flower, you can pick whatever color you want. Continue to color your plant life over here some sort of green. It doesn't have to be that green, but exactly. But in your straight line pattern, you can color it. I'd maybe leave it the same color as the one down here, but color it whatever colors you want those two to be. That way we have repetition. And we made sure we went over the overlapping and how what's down here in the very front is your foreground. Your lion's head is in the foreground because his head has overlapped this plant life, so it's kind of in the middle ground. And then everything back here behind the lion is the background. So there we have it, your pattern for your lion with the style of Henri Rousseau for week 5.